Hey folks, welcome back to the Practical Microservices stream. Hope you had a lovely weekend. Trying to think what fun things to announce. Tomorrow I'm going to start the process of writing a proposal for a sequel to Practical Microservices. I think of it that way. It may continue the journey there. At least want to touch on the topics that were briefly mentioned in the very last chapter. Continuing the journey is what it was called. But whether or not we'll keep up the story with the video tutorials website or not, I don't know. That's all to be decided, but starting tomorrow at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, I will pull up the proposal template that the Pragmatic Bookshelf has and just start working through it and trying to come up with ideas of what to cover in a book. So if you're there, absolutely feel free to join and ask questions that you have that very well could influence what goes into the book. But for today, I'm going to hit the coding scene, as I call it in OBS right now. And we can jump right back into where we were, which was, I see on the screen there, it says the meetup last Thursday. That was last Thursday as of like 4 weeks ago. So let us fix that real quick. Let's see here. It's got to navigate. There's in OBS, there's a feature where you can have a text element on the screen draw from a file on your system. And that's what I have. This what you're doing file is what it's called, out of the meetup. And I have this great desk setup where I have to like reach over my laptop to get to the computer keyboard for streaming in October. There we go. That'll be more accurate than what we had before. So with that, let's see, where were we? We spent Friday diagnosing that strange crash that we were seeing when we ran the component after making it snapshot capable, which was really strange. And what it turned out to be is that, let's come to the component here real quick. Our retrieved minutes attribute here is a hash. Let me scroll back up to the top of the file real quick. Ooh, right there, it's a hash. And so when it was down here in the raw data where the issue was, when we said, hey, here's our raw data, and then that member happened to be a hash. When the message got written to the message store, the casing conversion took over, and our keys for that hash are ISO 8601 time strings. And so it was reading word boundaries and changing dashes to underscores and stuff, lowercase to the T. And so when then we would check to see if we had already fetched a video, we'd get weird idempotence problems, but then also it didn't know how to deal with that conversion going on. So what we ended up doing was in our transform raw data, we converted it to a JSON string. So now it is serialized in the snapshots as a string, which meant that in the instance method, we would have to deserialize that string. And it was a little bit more complicated than just parsing the string back into a hash. We also needed to convert the string values to symbols because that's the way we have it coded. And I think I still have the message store running, so we can look at an example here. It's not the source URIs, it's the retrieved minutes. That is in here, right? Why don't I see it? Retrieved minutes, there we go. I still wish I could make the text bigger here. But if you look at that, what you'll notice is that it is a string that's being stored there now, and not the hash like we were previously doing. We convert it manually and deserialize it manually, and then everything works just fine. So that means that the information that we got at the meetup in October about how if on your entity you have some, say, instance variables that aren't declared as attributes, that they won't show up by default in the snapshotting mechanism. We've addressed that and incorporated that feedback back into the composite component. And so the next step is to incorporate that into the device video component, all these learnings that we've taken over the past few weeks. This has taken longer than I expected it to. I'm not upset about that. There were a number of interruptions due to like health issues and whatnot. Got sick with something, don't know what it was. Wasn't COVID, but anyway. Anyway, so now we want to go apply these learnings into the device video component. So that's what we're going to do here. Might get through it today, might push into tomorrow's noon stream, the book proposal one. That'll be in the evening, of course. But yeah, so I hit get status on this repository and I see that there are 2 changes there. I think one of them is just a comment. They're both comments. One was to comment out the sleep 1 to make the whole flow go faster. And then that comment was just the quick note I took during the meetup so that I would remember this fascinating topic that we could continue talking about. So here's what I'm going to do. Since I'm not likely to forget that first one, and I want to remove the second one anyway, let's just check it all out and undo those changes. So now status should be clean. There shouldn't be anything else up in the remote repository. There isn't. So we're starting some new work here for the day. So let's reinstall the gems just in case something in there changed. Continuous integration and all that. It's funny, like most Eventide components that I work on, that installation just pauses. No, it's at the messaging fixtures. We get at one of those 2 places, it just pauses right there. And I don't think it's because of that gem in particular. I haven't really diagnosed it because it's just not an issue, but pardon me. Ran this morning for the first time in a while, and it's cold out here in Utah, and so now I'm coughing. Fun stuff. Did that change anything? No, because we don't have a lock file, so wouldn't really expect it to. All right, let's open code editor. And remembering what the problem is, it is in our entity file, which would be device video. We have a requests hash, which by the end of the changes we were making in the composite component works exactly like the composite components retrieved minutes hash. Not exactly like, it's different values and keys and stuff, but we'll have to worry about all of the same things. And the workflow keys, the keys for this requests hash, these keys are full-on stream names, so they will encounter the same issue with the message writing casing mechanism kicking in and trying to change dashes to underscores and such. So I'm just going to make the call to preemptively just do it exactly like we did over in the other one, and just we'll make it a JSON string from the get-go and deserialize it, and we'll copy some of the same code, which I don't know, isn't brilliant, but I think where the value of this is there won't be as many days stumbling over this, so we can just go through this, take the learnings we have, and apply them quickly to this scenario. So with that in mind, then let's get into this. So testing is where I want to start with that, and we're going to head back to the composite component real quick to have a look at the test that we wrote there, to just remind myself the flavor we were looking for there. So start minutes doesn't apply. We have these 2 transform tests right here. Those are spot on for what we want, so I'm going to do it. I'm just going to copy them over. So let's make a directory here. It would be in test automated, and it would be in device video, and we'll call it transform. Wait a second. We can instead do a CP-R on there. Go up 1 level to the composite component test automated composite transform, and we want to place that into test automated device video, like so. So now if we reload our nerd tree here and come to test automated, what do we see? We see automated device video transform. There we go. All of a sudden, I'm just having a momentary panic about volume levels working correctly, but my indicators are saying it's all working. So, all right, that's what that little pause was all about. So let us grab the raw data test here. And I believe that pathing will be correct because this is at the same depth in this project as the other one was in the other, but we're no longer in composite where it's device video transform. raw data. We don't have a composite control. We would have a device video control. And I'm guessing that we follow the same format. There will be a top level example, right, like that. However, I don't think that example will have anything to put in the retrieve or the, what's it called? I don't remember the name of the hash. It is the requests hash. That's right. Okay. So if that's the case, we would want one where there are some requests. And so we could use this requested example instead. Although if we don't supply it any workflows, it won't auto-populate with any. What about this one? Retrieved is supposed to auto-populate with a workflow. Well, we could just change the control to do that auto-populating for us. Maybe that's the right approach to take. How do we use this in other places? Requested and fetched. For example, no, this would be in test, silly. Yeah, we just always supply it with one. So like handle events, fetched, expected version. Let's have a look at that. Split, test, automated, handle events, fetched, expected version. There's one. Okay, so we just put the workflows in there. Do we want to change that? So what's the trade-off here? We're requiring the test to supply these example workflows. I don't think it's a bad idea to make it optional for the test to supply workflows, but I don't like the idea that I can't get a complete example without doing something there in the test. So which means that the test necessarily has to change if something were to change in the class itself or the control for that class. So this, I'm going to call it a mistake. That wasn't the right way to do it. We would like our controls to be fully representative examples of those constructs in the state that we expect them to be in, given the name that we had. So if I go and make a requested and fetched example, I expect an entity that is already in that state that doesn't need more information for me to do that. Now, if I want to be able to provide information to override that, different story. That's totally legit. So it's got that sinking feeling. We're probably not going to finish today with what we're set out to do here, because once we're done with this, we can go right back to porting video tutorials to Eventide. And I'm really keen on getting back to that. Whoa, let me just bump things and make them move around. Why I'm really keen for that is we're figuring out aggregation, like how to actually code that, dealing with the schema and stuff. Anyway, let's talk about how awesome it will be to be there. More work on getting to when we can be there. All right, so let us come in here and make it so that we don't need to supply these workflows. So this test right here, I don't want to override these, so let's comment them out real quick, and then we can comment out passing them, and we just need to get this test working, and in the process we may break other tests, but let's do what we can. Test automated, handle events, fetched, expected version. We run that, we get incorrect number of parameters passed, probably. Yeah, wrong number of arguments. You don't pass parameters, you pass arguments. Parameters are what we call them in the methods definition. So let us come to that control, the device video control, requested and fetched. Make you optional, neat. Now if we do that, some sort of a test failure because now it doesn't have any workflows. Oh no, it'll fail right there in the control file at 66 because I don't know if you can pass nil to that constructor. If you can, it will then not fail. At 67. Wait, oh, well, if you can, that will be empty, so that will pass. So it will either fail at 66 because you can't pass nil to the array constructor, or what will we get? Assertion failures. Oh, missing keyword. What? Oh, right. Gotta declare that that can be nil if you're gonna do that. So assertion failures. You can pass nil to the constructor, and that will just give you an empty array. That's what was happening here, because now that's nil because we're not passing anything. So what I would like to do there is be nice to have an example of a workflow, but not necessarily a static one. Let's just do the first step that could get this working. So let's see here. I would say let's go a line above and say workflow or workflows or equals an array containing those. That's the start. Now, what will we get? Probably that those workflow 1 isn't. Yeah, exactly. Name error. Workflow 2 is not defined anywhere because we just commented it out. So this is actually a bit of a conundrum, because one of the reasons we would want to be able to pass those in is so that we can get references to those particular workflows. So does our entity class provide a way to get the list of workflows? And if it doesn't, why not? Unfulfilled workflows we can get. Oh, but that's something to iterate over them. No, we don't have a way to get that. And we're certainly not going to grab the request hash and do a just give me the keys from there, because that's too much information there. Is there a valid reason to be able to get those strings from it? An entity class is first and foremost a data class. It doesn't have side effects. It's not a behavior. So it stores some data and can give useful representations of that. So my current understanding of good design principles, that this isn't defending them right now. So an alternative option would be we could have somewhere on the control an example of some workflows. So we could just get that from a control and pass that in. But again, I really would like the entity control to be self-service and complete. So I think what that means is we add like a requested workflows, like so. And this returns an array of those workflow keys. Something like that. Now, does that naming sound weird with unfulfilled workflows, which we iterate over? Kind of. I think we like more explicitly renamed that in the composite. Oh, that's funny. It was already open. So start minutes we left as just start minutes. Was there any sort of... No, there wasn't. So come back here. So unfulfilled workflows, I like the name of it, but we passed an action to it because we're like, oh, we don't want the outside world to know that we're storing these as a hash. But what if this method just returned a list, an array of the unfulfilled workflows? And so the contract is not I'm going to respond with exactly how I store this stuff. The contract is I'm going to respond with a list of the unfulfilled workflows. I think that's a good refactor. Because in both cases, we're still hiding how these are actually stored. And if you look at how it's used, we're not using the value from the hash at all. We literally just want the workflow here. And I'm guessing, yeah, so we call, right, this is used in the handler. Yeah, I think that's the right change to make. Okay, so when we make this, we're going to break a whole bunch of things, and that's fine. We have our unfulfilled workflows. We have all of our workflows. So if that's the case, I'm just going to call this workflows. And let's move it down closer to there. I like that. We're going to go with that. We want to test this. So I probably down here in test automated device video, we have an unfulfilled workflows, bunch of tests. Some of those are going to go away because we don't expect to pass it a block anymore. In fact, I know for a fact that's going to go away. So let's just go ahead and remove that right now. Test automated device video unfulfilled workflows error on no block. All right, so I need to take some notes here, otherwise I'm going to forget what we're doing. So let's see here. We are refactoring device video component. And what did we do? Discussed the potential refactoring, like so. We're changing unfulfilled workflows to return an array. This still hides our internal representation. So that's good. We're changing the controls to provide fully formed examples rather than examples that need additional input from the tests. I think that's an important discussion that we had there. So let me just say that more in prose form for the description of this afterwards. We discussed how controls are best when they provide complete examples. We may, oh my goodness, there we go. We may allow overrides from a test, but we don't require require a test to supply needed attributes. Like so. Okay. So, and then does that capture everything that we're doing right? And we're adding a method to return a list of all workflows for the device video. There we go. Okay, so now when most likely we don't finish this all today, we know what we're working on. All right, so with that said, what are we at here? I want to get the workflows working first. So let's add workflows here and do an empty one. Sure. No, we had some good. Let's just add workflows RV real quick. I think there's a way we can cover both of those cases without having to write both, like the test is separate files. I like the idea of a testing one concept, but the array of workflows being empty on a brand new one is more of a precondition than an actual test that we care about. So let's start with that. So we'll go test automated device video and workflows.rb. That's what we want. And require relative so that we can get our automated init like so. Oh boy, everything is wrong today. Division sign. What? How did I get that? Whoa, neat. On the Mac, if you hit Option / you get the division sign. Glad I learned that today. And that is wrong as well. Like that. That should be right. Okay. My confidence in how this is going has just gone down. So let's run that. Okay, good. We didn't crash. So context is device video. This is, I think, the worst I have typed on stream since I started this whole enterprise here. So my apologies, folks. Just bear with me here. So to do this test, we're going to want a device video. Imagine that. Device video. And we particularly want a new one. So I believe we have such a thing. Yeah. So let's go to our controls and new.example. Could we have just built one right there? Absolutely. But this gives us more semantic meaning. We specifically want one in a new state. And what we're going to say there is that device video work flows is empty, or let's fail. So if we run this test, it will give us an error. 1 second. It will give us an error because there is no workflows method on the device video entity. Oh, look at that. No method error. Let's write one real quick, shall we? Oh, look at that. Nil, I don't think is empty. Yeah, there's no method empty on nil class, so let's fix that real quick. There we are. We're passing. And then, so now what we want to do is request a video. And I do not quite remember the method we would use for that. There we go. It's requests. A little inconsistent on the naming here because I think in the other component we have the tense on the add it to the list that you're tracking and the has this thing completed to be the same. And in fact, right within the same class we have retrieved and retrieved question marks. So let's just change it. That's fine. It'll just mean more things break. That's why we have tests so that we can fix that kind of thing. Device video dot requested, and we need to put a workflow in there. That will crash because workflow isn't defined. I really think that the control is lacking because it does not have an example of a workflow. So we're going to do def self dot workflow. And an example of that would be some stream 1, 2, 3. And that's going to work for a little bit, but it would be nice to what if we allowed it to pass in some sort of a like number that you could append to the end, like an increment, and let's default that to 1, and then you would be increment like so. I like that. Let's go with that. So if that's the case, then our workflow would be equal to controls device video dot workflow, like so. Now we should not fail anymore. Oh, we did. Did I not? Oh, I didn't save up here. There we go. Okay, so now then we have a workflow actually added. Now we want to test. workflows contains workflow, like so. And we want to assert that device video dot workflows equal to workflow. Ethan, you're wrapping that in an array. Isn't that you saying you know the internal implementation details? No, because specifically the contract on that method is that I return you a list of every workflow. So this will fail because right now we're just returning an empty array for workflows. Good. So come back down to it and basically just want this. Is it keys? We can just punt that right along to the hash method. And there we go. So now we have our workflows thingamajig. And that's good. So with that in place, we can go back to, was it handle events? Requested, expected, no, it wasn't. Oh. I don't remember what we were looking at. It was test automated handle events, fetched expected version. There we go. It's this one right here. And this one was failing because we don't have workflow 1 and 2 anymore. No, now it's failing in the control because we changed the method on the entity there. So, right. I'm just going to go ahead and do this everywhere I see it. Like, we know we need to make that change. There's already code pulling it in. Just because I didn't see the error is not enough to convince me to not do what I just did. So now do we get workflow 2 is not defined? There we go. That's the one we wanted. So what that's saying is, we used to have a workflow 1 and workflow 2 defined up here and somewhere in here in the test. Don't remember exactly where. What am I even running the same? Handle events. Oh yeah, this isn't the same test. Test automated handle events fetched expected version. Here we go. Ah, there we go. We commented it out. And then we were using workflow 1 and 2 down here in our assertions. And so what we can do instead is grab those like so, uncomment, and then that would equal device video dot workflows like so. Boom. That was an easy enough refactoring there. So, what else blows up right now? 7 total errors. That's fine. So let's go test automated projection requested. Actually, that's probably going to fail in the projection. Yeah. So lib device video pro what? Oh, right. Device video component projection. And instead of request, that should be requested. Oh, that only fixed one error. That's sad. All right, test automated handle event requested, retrieved. And our error is at 65. 65. Oh, that's in the control. Where did we call it from, though? Oh, no, it's in the control where the problem is. Controls device video. This is the one that we want. Let's go to line 65. Oh, sad. Not quite. Given 1, expected 0. But can't see from there who called it. So we'll have to scroll up to here. Whatever this one is, we'll go here first. So let's see here. in the control from retrieved. This is the right file. So let's see. This is where we called the control with the incorrect number. Why is clicking that not working? I don't know. That's strange. Anyway, it's right there that it's telling us. So let's go up to line 14 and what am I doing here? There we go. So we're passing in the one single workflow. Right. Okay. So before that was a positional argument called workflow or workflows. Now that we've made it this, looks like a hash, but it might be a named parameter. We can't just pass it in positionally anymore. So we need to change this to workflow or workflows. And then we can do like that. And then that should remove one of them. Great. So now we just gotta do something like that in 6 more or 5 more places. That's fine. It's all fine. Test, automated, handle, event, fetched, retrieved at line 16. Oh, look at you. You're this kind. So in this case, I think we can just get rid of passing those in like so. And then right below there, we would say workflow 1, workflow 2 equals device video dot workflows. Really, I wish I were getting paid based on the number of times that I say the word workflow, because man, I'd be rolling in those sweet, sweet streaming dollars right now. But here we are, doing an honest day's work. Test automated, handle events, fetched, ignored at line 13. Wish I had. Might be able to. Oh, look at that. That was still in the buffer of the last thing I had done. So, yay Vim. Hey, incidentally, when we're done here, one of the core contributors of NeoVim is streaming. So if you're catching this, go check out TeejDV, TEEJ_DV. So that's really appreciate the work he and the other maintainers have done on this project. I'm gonna copy that into my buffer real quick and needlessly write the file again. Ooh, that did not actually fix the error because we still have 4 errors. Oh, right, because we marked these as retrieved. So this needs to come up further. Yeah, it's a little clunky, but whatever. There we go. Requested and fetched. Right, because furthermore, we wanted to mark 2 of them as retrieved. That one is particular to our test, so I'm going to let that stand. 3 total errors. We are closing in on getting back to a place where we can start here. Let's keep scrolling up and find out what the next one is. Uninitialized constant. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's beautiful. That is in the test file that we just added real quick. So those shouldn't be working right now. So watch this. Yoink. And yoink. 1 error. And where are you, error? In tests, automated, device video requested at line 4. This should say requested like so. And we don't need to do this anymore. We have a method for that. Look at that. Okay, we're all passing again. So we just dealt with renaming request to requested and changing the controls to be able to give us full-on examples. This one still requires us to do a workflow. This one is incorrect, so let's change that. We're going to say that workflow or equals device video dot workflow. That'll break some tests because what? That was supposed to break some tests. Why didn't it? Oh, right, because we're still passing something. We haven't. We still require it. There we go. Now we don't require it. There we go. That's what we want right there. So let's see. Test, automated, handle, events, requested, retrieved, ignored. And your workflow right here. So you should be working, and now test, automated, handle, commands, retrieve, retrieved, ignored. And do the same thing here. We allow it to be controlled from the outside. We just don't require it to be done. Ooh. Wait a second. 2 total errors. Why did that change? Trigger that. Let's do this again. 1 total error. Now we switch you. Wow. I'm not even sure what I did there. All right, so we fix you, we rerun you, and now you're saying 2 total errors. Oh, it's a failed assertion. Then also, did I save you? Workflow. Given 1, expected 0. What? Oh, that's retrieved. I see. We're looking at the wrong one. Ah, okay. That's better. This should have been workflow or workflows. And then pass in the workflow. And then you would need to be like that. And workflow or workflows would be or equal something. Ooh, but I don't want to do that. But let's drop it in here real quick. So device video dot workflow, and we can pass it in increment. Here, let's make this formatting all JavaScript like so that it fits on the screen at one time. And that was a bit premature to copy that, wasn't it? Device video workflow, and the increment we would want to pass is 1, 2, 3. Now we can copy that and do our 4, 5, 6. Yes, it changed the category part of it, but that's fine. Is that even legal? Can we do what we just did there? Doesn't look like it. Expected label. Where is this error? Oh, the error is over here, right? It would be workflow, like so. Well, that bumped us up in error, so that's exciting. All right, I think what we need to do is just first grab this and let's pull it down, drop it in here to do a similar change there. Do some white space there. And do we need a similar bit of what? We already have it. Great. So we get the workflows and da-da-da. Okay, that's a good place. Now let's go back and fix these errors. So let's see. Test automated projection retrieved at line 10. we are going to get a requested example, and requested now takes workflow or workflows. Yes, because we just want the one specific one. We're down to 3 errors. Great. And then what's this next one? Test automated projection fetched. Same thing. Can I just... Nope. That's sad. Wait a second. Wait, one. No, whatever. Oh, dear goodness. Workflow or workflows. 2 errors. Let's go find the next one. Where is it? Right there. So that is in retrieved, ignored. So test automated handle commands retrieved, ignored. Line 12. And the retrieved one just takes a single workflow, so we can just add, do like so, 1 total error. Scrolling is fun. Test automated device video, unfulfilled workflows. Which example? Probably not the empty one. Test automated device video. Wait, oh, there it is. Right there. Okay, so same thing. The requested one takes workflow or workflows. Like so, and now we should be running again. Great. Great. That's refactoring at its finest. So in all of these now, are we getting fetched, doesn't receive anything, you optionally receive something, you optionally receive, and really like now that we have this workflow example in there. I think that makes it a lot stronger. So there's one thing I want to search for, and that is some workflow in test. We don't have any more of those. Do we have some strings? Okay, I think we also, now wherever we were spelling out workflows, we're using the control, because where we were spelling them out, the control now provides them unless we need, yeah. Oh, I don't know. Good stuff. All right, so with that all in place, what do we do? Where do we go next? Do we go directly to the transform stuff here? This workflows method works, for lack of a better term, which means now we can get a list of all the workflows. With that list of the workflows, what can we do? What was that? Gives us, right, we need that for serialization. Yeah, so I'm less likely to forget that than I am to make that change to where, let me open the file real quick and then say it. Unfulfilled workflows right now takes a block, and I don't want it to do that. I want it to just give us the list of unfulfilled workflows. So if we delete that, and then what we want is requests. We really need to be doing this in this test right here. So let's go test automated device video unfulfilled workflows. Here we go. So here are our workflows, and we're going to mark that one retrieved. And we don't need to do this count stuff anymore because it's not taking a block anymore. So we would just change the test to be has the unfulfilled workflows, and we would say that assert device video dot unfulfilled workflows is equal to some array that we haven't defined yet. So those are all the ones that we pass in, and unfulfilled workflows would equal workflows from there, I believe. We just want to get those two members, and so then we would expect that to return us the unfulfilled, try it again, unfulfilled workflows, and we don't need call count anymore. There we go. The test automate, Ruby test automated device video unfulfilled workflows, like so. Now we should get an error because called without an action. There we go. And now, so this would be requests dot keys dot select. We can do K for keys, and we want not retrieved. Okay, but no, that's silly. Let's name them what they are. We want the ones that have not been retrieved. Oh, that I was expecting that to pass. Why did it not? Oh, right, because that's why. And that's kind of silly too. We could just say workflows dot select. That didn't pass. What? No, that's wrong. You're wrong, computer. I'm right. Undefined. I clearly did not spell these correctly. Oh, these are unfulfilled ones. There we go. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, cool. Well, I'm pleased with that. But let's just real quick handle the device, test automated device video empty. What? Oh no, it's unfulfilled workflows empty real quick. We'll grab that, and then call count goes away. And let's see, what we actually want to assert is that the device video.unfulfilled workflows is equal to the empty array. Let's say, so then we can get rid of all of you and run that empty test. Okay, cool. Great. We're at stopping point, the time we have to stop today. What did we accomplish? We did a bunch of refactoring. There were some choices I made that I didn't like. For example, forcing unfulfilled workflows to take a block. We changed that method to hand back a list of all the unfulfilled workflows, so that it made more sense that way to then have a corresponding one that has all of the workflows for the actual work we were trying to get to. We also changed all of our controls so that they would give complete examples of their data rather than requiring the test to supply that example data. That's what we fixed on. So with that, I'll take those notes that I just said off the stream. Thanks for coming, everyone. Tomorrow we will continue with actually doing the device, what we were after, which was making the requests hash here and attribute on there, and then making sure it's snapshot aware. Just like we did in the composite component. And then also tomorrow evening, reminder, is the book proposal. We're going to start that process and show what it means to submit a book proposal to the Pragmatic Bookshelf, a fantastic publisher. And so come with questions you have about the process, come with ideas of what you'd like to see in a follow-up to Practical Microservices. But for now, happy coding.